Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? So, you are listening to Heart with Saima. It's the podcast show for people searching for that courageous person that is within us who wants to be inspired by listening to um, ordinary stories of extraordinary people doing extraordinary things. And this is Saima Dhillon, your host. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here. And without waiting anymore, let's dive right in. My guest today is Jennifer Spur, channel and guide for high achieving spiritual leaders who are ready to up level in ascension, purpose, and fulfillment of their mission. She's also the host of Awake and On Purpose podcast, a wonderful guest, and we're going to bring her on in just a few minutes. Just a little bit about myself. I just believe in living life, being authentic, being unconventional. So I believe in touching lives just one person at a time. I'm a realtor by profession. I have a digital marketing company. I am a podcaster. I'm right here in front of you. I have a radio show on 104.1 FM called Radio Caravan, and it's based in Dallas. You can listen to it on the website. You can watch me live stream on Facebook because I do live stream the radio show on Thursdays from 1 to 3. Um, for women, join my women empowerment group. It's called Win of Noor. Our mission is diversity, inclusion, empowerment. We have over 3,000 women in the group, and empowerment to different people means different things. For me, the meaning of empowerment is very simple. It just means the ability to be able to live your life, to be able to live in an authentic way, to be able to live out your heart's desires and go after your dreams. To me, that is empowerment, and it's there for women, for men. um, you know it's the ability to be able to live your best life, which I feel I do. And it's living with all the imperfection, and living a flawed life, imperfect life, but believing that it is perfect in every which way possible. So without waiting anymore, let me bring Jennifer on. Hey, good evening, Jennifer. How are you
Hey,
doing?
it's great to see you. I'm happy to be on. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing great. I was just mentioning before bringing you on that I just for me, women empowerment is just something so simple. It's just that ability to be able to live your best life, to be able to dream, having the courage to go after your dreams, and different people have different meanings for empowerment, for feminism. But for me, it's just so simple. The ability to be able to breathe when you want, to be able to laugh when you want, to just be able to laugh wholeheartedly, as your heart desires. What does women empowerment mean to you, Jennifer?
I love how you define empowerment. I resonate with that. And I also feel that it means having a clear sense of self. Because when we're clear in the core of who we are, what our values are, what our beliefs are, and what brings us joy, then we're unstoppable.
Absolutely. And you know we are in this world, right? And I think that goes irrespective of the gender, male, female. I think this goes for just everyone. We are the world's population is over 7 billion, and everyone is created so uniquely and so differently. And I think that ability to be able we are created to live an authentic life instead of just conforming to a certain uniformity, and just everyone just being the same. But on that note, let me hand the screen over to you and give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. And here goes, it's all yours.
Yeah. So I was introduced a little bit earlier, but for those of you who are just joining us and whoever's with us, please feel free to drop us a note and say hello. My name is Jennifer Spur, and I'm an Akashic channel, a solid business mentor, and a strategist. I work with a lot of visionary leaders who are ready to step into new levels of potentiality in their purpose and their mission. So I love that we're having this conversation tonight, because empowerment is certainly a significant component of the work that I do with clients and what I talk about on my podcast as well, which is Awaken on Purpose. So it's interesting. So just a little bit more about my background. I actually have had my business for the last few years, but prior to that, I had a well-established career. I worked in the retail industry for 20 something years. I'm dating myself right now as I say that. And for the last 10 years or so of that career, I worked in corporate. And like so many people, and especially so many people in the last couple of years, I reached a place where I was no longer feeling happy and fulfilled in my work. And that transition and that awakening is what actually led me to starting a business. It was actually during that time of transition that I had worked with a lot of business mentors, spiritual teachers, but I really was hard pressed at that point in my life in finding someone who could help me bring it all together and bring it into my physical reality. And that's really what initially inspired me to pursue the work that I'm doing now. And so I alluded to this in my conversation here earlier, but I really believe that the key to living a fulfilled life and the key to really anything, including navigating the uncertain times that we're all living in, is really having that clear sense of self and a sense of conviction in why you're here and what you want to pursue.
Jennifer, why do so you work with leaders, you help, because I think everyone needs clarity in what they're doing, right? And everyone
Mhm.
needs guidance. Even people who are leaders, even they need clarity. They have a huge responsibility with
Mhm.
having people work underneath them. And even if you don't, even when you are an entrepreneur, everyone needs guidance. Everyone needs. Sometimes you become mentors to other people,
Mhm.
but on the same note, you need mentors yourself. You need coaches and guidance yourself.
Mhm.
Why is it so important for people to follow their heart, and for people to do, even in the place of employment, for them to do things that they actually love?
Well, following our heart is really what leads us to, that joy, what brings us joy. The saying, it can sound cliche, follow your bliss. I'm sure we've all heard it, but it's so true. As humans, we are wired for creation. We're wired for expansion. So growing and changing and pursuing things that we enjoy, that drives us to grow. But so many of us have been uh, brought up in a society that promotes conformity. And just even looking at this from a practical standpoint, if you are someone who works for another company, and let's say that you're not enjoying your work particularly, you've just gone in, you've made a career decision based upon what your parents or teachers or someone else told you that you needed to do to be successful, but you're not happy at it. When you're not happy doing something, it impacts your productivity. It impacts your morale on a day-to-day basis. It just makes things feel a lot harder. And that's another component is that so many of us have also been conditioned to believe that life is something that you have to get through, right? Life is something that's hard. And that's not true. When you allow yourself to honor what brings you joy and you make decisions around that, then things fall into place.
Isn't it so crazy, Jennifer, that, I was literally talking to a friend earlier, and I was telling her that it, that it's, you know, that we are conditioned from the moment we are born to
Mhm.
compromise with everything, to compromise with life, to compromise with our our life choices, to compromise with work, to do things which when we are growing up, we are in an environment where parents tell you that, hey, I think you should be this, or maybe that is better for you. Go attend, go play this, or go attend this class, go do this, go do that. And we end up following goals and dreams, which are not necessarily our own dreams. And we reach a certain point in life where we have been conditioned to do those things, so we
Mhm.
continue doing those things. But somewhere we are unhappy, we are not happy working where we are not happy doing the things that we are doing. We just feel that we cannot resonate with uh, this person that we have become, because we have moved so far away from our authentic self. And even you're living weekend to weekend, right? Monday morning you have Monday morning blues. You shouldn't have Monday morning blues, because if you do something, and if you follow your passion, if you do things that you actually love to do, then you won't wait every Monday morning and have Monday morning blues, and spend that whole 5 days literally of your life. So you're pretty much spending like 80% of your life just waiting for either the weekends, waiting for the vacations to come, because that's when you get the ability to live, follow your, just be happy, right?
Mhm.
Whatever you do during the weekdays, whatever your work is, whatever you should feel passionate about.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I was talking. I wanted to just say, acknowledge everyone and say hi to everyone too. And thank you so much for being part of our conversation here. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, that so many people have been conditioned to believe that success is defined in this cookie cutter way. And so many people pursue careers, go to schools, even commit to marriages, you know, do things that for reasons that are based around that conditioning. And then, some people live their entire lives and then leave this earth, without actually having honored what brings them joy, right? And it's that societal programming and transgenerational programming can be hugely influential in that.
um, so when you work with leaders, when you work with people, what advice, what are the things that you're looking out for when you start working with different people? What's the process?
Yeah, so the work that I do is really customized depending on the person, but some of the main component or common things I'll mention here. One is, you had mentioned also lack of clarity. And I work with a lot of people who desire clarity. And, what I find is a lot of the time when we're not feeling clear about something, it's not that we're not clear, it's more about that we have an unexpressed part of ourselves that wants to come forward. We already have the answer within. We already know what we want to do, but we tell ourselves that we're confused about it because we're either afraid to do it or we don't know how to do it. And so that's something else that I specialize in. So I'm highly intuitive, and I have a gift for being able to zero in on people to help them align with articulating, getting clear within themselves and externally on what that it factor is for them. But I also specialize in helping people take that vision that they have and break that down into actionable steps to manifest it into their reality, because that's where a lot of people tend to feel stuck as well on their journey, is that they have this vision on their heart, but they don't know how to go about integrating that into the current life that they're living. So sometimes a person will end up doing nothing. And so that's when it can be really beneficial for someone to reach out for support. A lot of times you can figure all of this out on your own. It just might, if you're driven, that is, but it might take a lot longer. And we all have blind spots, right? Sometimes this is something really important that I want to mention as well, especially, with leaders, is that we all have blind spots, and we can also be too close to our own stuff sometimes, if that makes sense. We have
Will you explain what
yeah. So we can be emotionally attached to our own situation when it comes to our growth, which can sometimes cloud our view a little bit. So that's where it can be beneficial to have, a coach or a mentor or someone that you're working with who has been where you are, who can actually stand outside your circle, so to speak, with a more objective point of view to help lead you in the direction to where you want to be.
And I think people underestimate the importance of growth.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I think, so. Jennifer, 2016, my family took a business hit. And when we took that hit, it was so overwhelming that it was kind of, like being in this, in the eye of a storm, and you're trying to just protect your family, you're trying to save your kids, you're just being stuck in every direction, left and right. But what I realized at that time was that when you're trying to do things for others, you're drowning yourself at the same time. So, what you have to do is first you have to detach yourself from the group environment of your family, and you have to, or whatever the situation might be, and you have to first figure things out on your own. And at that point, I had mentors around me, I had coaches around me, I had different people around me who were helping me kind of see my vision, who were helping me place things in a certain order, who were helping me with manifestation, and who were helping me find clarity in my own vision as to where I saw myself, like a 90 day, 12 month, a 2 year plan. So I could, piece by piece, we could construct this manifestation, so we could move forward step by step. So, but I had to kind of detach myself from every emotional thing that was attached to me, so I could envision my future, and I could move forward with that vision. So I think that's it's absolutely imperative to have people, surround yourself with people who can help bring clarity and who can help you build, because we just start doing things and we become complacent in that space. But in life, we are meant to grow. We
Mm-hmm.
need to evolve in life, not just stay in one place and become stagnant.
Yeah, absolutely. That's as humans, we're wired for expansion. That's why we're here. We're a soul. Our soul is eternal. We're here having a human experience, and we're here to connect with others. We're also here to learn. And that's, fear of change is another societal and transgenerational conditioning that so many people have to overcome, or master on their growth path, because it's really the opposite. We need to embrace change, because change is part of evolution. It's part of growth. This could be another episode or conversation on its own, but what we're talking about right now, it's apparent at a planetary level, at a collective level. So many systems that have been in place for however many thousands of years that promote conformity aren't working anymore. A lot has come to the surface especially over the last couple of years, when so many people were forced to make changes to how, they were living their lives.
Jennifer, when and including my own journey, right? When I was going through that time where I was constantly attracting um, things which were falling apart. And in 2016, I literally I started this journey on changing my own energy and changing what I was attracting. And so it's been a while, because this is 2022, and I started that journey in 2016, and which led me to 2019 when I started my podcast. And my podcast was life changing for me, because every week, it was not about anyone else. It was for me. Every week, I would have amazing guests like yourself who would come on, and I would talk to, a different person every week, who would just enrich me, and who would just help me heal and help me, fill those holes which were there in my soul, and just help me build. And it's just been such an amazing journey of fulfillment, meeting with different people, learning from their wisdom. But I think these are things that people need to kind of take mindfully, approach mindfully, and people need to be receptive to that change, because that change is essential. It's key to to changing your energy. And I will let you in just a second share your thoughts as to how one should go about changing that energy when you work with people and you see that they're just constantly attracting something different, what advice you give them. But I'll tell you something. One, I'm utterly grateful to everyone who is here watching. Russ, thank you always for your support. Thank you for being here. Mary, thank you for watching. Shamim, thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you for your kind words. But I recently met this person, and his name is Bharat. Just in case he watches this show, and I feel that everyone comes and everyone leaves me with something amazing of value and wisdom. And Bharat shared something with me, and he said that um, if you keep attracting the same thing over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
it means that there is something within yourself
Mm-hmm.
that you need to change. And that was such an aha moment for me. And I will always keep that. And since the day he said that, I started working on just changing myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Patterns are invitations to mastery. When you notice something, that you're attracting something over and over again that you don't want, the first step is to have that willingness. Awareness is everything. So that's step one. And then stepping into an observer role for yourself to ask questions, right? to do deeper exploration to get to the root of why the pattern keeps recurring. So asking yourself questions like, what am I being shown? I keep having this XYZ experience. What am I being shown? And listening to what your soul's guidance is trying to tell you. This is huge because so many people live or are conditioned to live in the mental space. And I often say that the mind is a faithful servant, which it is, but our soul is eternal. Our soul has the blueprint for our lives.
Wow,
So
I love that. Okay, I'm going to interrupt you. So life, what was that? Life, repeat that.
our mind is a faithful servant, but our soul is eternal. It has the blueprint for our lives. So earlier we're talking about how we have a soul and we're here having a human experience, right? The soul has the blueprint for what we're here to learn. So learning how to recognize the difference between your soul's guidance or your intuition, versus the mental chatter is really, really key. Because our intuition will also never be fear-based, but it may trigger fear in some of us because it's always going to guide us toward expansion. And expansion and growth often equates to many people as an unknown path, right? So if you're conditioned to fear change, then you may be hesitant in following what your soul is guiding you to do. That's why it's so important to know the difference between the two.
And I will ask you to explain the difference between the two. I feel, Jennifer, that, we've been taught to just keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying until we succeed. But the thing is that success and failure, they're all subjective, one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a matter of perception.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second thing is that I feel that you're wanting to do something and life just keeps closing those doors for you.
Mm-hmm.
And we have been conditioned that we have to keep trying, but
Mm-hmm.
perhaps life is closing those doors because life wants you to pivot and take
Yes,
a different direction.
that's true. If you keep having an experience where you're feeling like the doors are closing, it's time to do some deeper exploration around, what's the deeper motive that you have for the thing that you keep trying to do, right? Because it could really be that you're pursuing something that you think you have to pursue because that's what other people are telling you to do versus what your soul is guiding you to do. When you follow your
That's
soul's
perception, right?
guidance, huh?
So it is definitely perception based.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
So what
Because
would you say is the difference between, um, what we were talking about something earlier, and I said I'll let you explain the difference between.
the difference between your soul's guidance and
Yes.
the mind chatter. Yeah. The easiest way to tell is that your intuition or your soul's guidance will never be fear-based. The mind is what questions everything because the mind only knows what it knows. The mind assesses things and makes decisions based upon conditioning and past experiences. So that's why it's not primarily what you want to follow when you're looking to expand. The mind is great for making logical decisions, right? So, eating my breakfast in the morning, organizing a spreadsheet, or, starting my car, exercising, all of that type of stuff. But when it comes to making decisions about your career, do you want to start a business, following your purpose? Those are the times that you want to ensure that your soul is in the driver's seat of your life.
Well, That, and how do you do that?
By recognizing the difference in the voice, right? So a lot of people, everybody has this. Everybody has intuition. Everyone's intuitive. They're just tapped into it to different extents. So it's learning how to understand how that voice speaks to you. Okay, so for some people, it could be a gut feeling. For some people, it could be goosebumps. You know, when they know something is true, they get goosebumps. Or for some people, it could be they just have a thought pop in and they don't know why they know, they just know. And for some people, it could be that they see it, you know. So it's recognizing for you how that voice comes through, and it's a lot like working the muscle. So you can have fun with it too and practice, right? You know, just in some little day-to-day decisions to gain more confidence around how that voice comes through for you. But ultimately, the price of admission to living an extraordinary life, the one that's on purpose, the one that brings you the most joy, is having the willingness to take a leap of faith. It's trusting yourself,
Believing in yourself.
believing in yourself. It's everything. The strategy is, you know, like 10% of it. All the rest is being willing to take that leap and believing in yourself. It's being in touch with your intuition. It's having a solid mindset. I posted something recently, something that I joke about now, but when I finally made the decision, hey, I'm going to start this business because I see that there's a need for people to get support where they can bring everything together, right? So when I decided I was going to start the business, I told my family, friends, I was telling everybody, I said, no matter what, this business is going to be successful, even if I have to live in my car and eat top ramen all the time, you know, which like never happened. But the whole point of sharing that story is that I had a mindset of that there was no other path, just the path.
And when you want something bad enough, the universe conspires to
It's
make it
gonna
happen for
happen
you.
because you're energetically calling it in. Everything is energy.
Yes. So, and that energy starts attracting, and it's like wheels in motion,
Yes.
and
Momentum.
it's like that
Yes.
slow train which is just in motion, and it keeps moving faster and faster and
Yes.
faster. But you have to, like you said, it is that leap of faith. You do have to believe in yourself. You have to, and none of that is easy to do.
No, it's not always easy, but the reason why it feels difficult and when it does is because we have a conflicting belief that it can't be easy or that what we want isn't possible, when the truth is that anything is possible.
Absolutely. And the world is your oyster, and you can do anything. And it's about believing in yourself, because
Mhm.
if you believe in yourself, you will believe in others. And when you believe in others, it's the cultivation of that energy and that feeling and that belief. um, um, you know um, that
The ripple effect.
it will happen.
Yes.
It's the purity of that belief, right?
Yes.
And I think that's the worst thing that people do to themselves. Um, they are so conditioned to listening to every voice which is around them, but their own, but following their own heart.
Yes, and that's so important that you mention that, because we also have conditioning around labels on our relationships and an expectation that, hey, if it's my sibling or my parent or even my spouse, that that they're supposed to support me, right? In whatever decision I make. And some of them do, but not all do. And it's important to understand that all of those people you love, not all of them may be capable of holding that kind of space for you, because, and you can't allow that to define you and the decisions that you're making. Something else I like to say often too is that, you can't expect to take advice from people who are in the peanut gallery. You've got to surround yourself with other people who are in the game. Those are the people that you reach out to for support.
I think that is so brilliant right there. Because you know what? In this journey, we might sit there and feel that, oh, why is my buddy not supporting me? Or why is my brother or sister or parent, why they're opposing me? Why do they not believe in my vision? And you let those energies conflict with your own belief system believing in yourself, right? But if you put everything on the side and if you just focus and you start taking those steps forward, then the universe is going to send people your way who actually believe in you, who will help you propel, who will help you move forward. And they might not necessarily, I mean, I know they say blood is thicker than water, but sometimes it maybe not.
Not
Maybe
always. I
not
mean,
always.
not always. And what you said is so true. When you start taking those action steps, because you'll automatically start attracting people that share a similar energetic frequency.
And I think that's more important, because then that becomes your tribe. You start attracting people. Now, this might even sound harsh, but this is just something I was thinking this morning. And this, like I said, this is going to sound really harsh. And so you give me your feedback. You're wanting to do things, you're wanting to do amazing things, but you keep trying to help people who are broken. And when you keep trying to help people who are broken, I think they keep holding you back. I think you have to find your vision and your purpose and your focus, and you have to tread forward, and you have to put one step in front of the other, and perhaps not worry about helping, as at least not at that time, until you find your own platform, and you take yourself to a point where you yourself have built yourself up to a certain point and you're strong enough, and at that point you have that strength to be able to help other people, because when you yourself are broken and you want to help the whole world around you, but you're not able to do anything, because you have to first like how they say, right? If the plane is about to, if there's turbulence and you need to put your oxygen mask on, don't try to give it to other people or your children or your family before you do it for yourself. Take care of yourself first, so that you're strong enough to be able to, you're only able to help others from your overflow. If your glass is empty, you really, even if you have the intention and the desire to be able to, spread wonder and joy and happiness around you and help people around you, but you really truly cannot until you help yourself first.
Yes. All roads lead back to how we feel about and treat ourselves.
Yes.
And the other thing that's key is, all of what you're talking about really just goes back to the importance of someone being clear in what their role is here. And what I mean by that is having that clear sense of self, knowing who you're here to help, right? Because, right now is a perfect time to have this conversation, because there is a hell of a lot going on in the world to care about. Okay. But you can't possibly direct your energy to helping everybody and with everything that's going on. So it's important for you to be clear on, well, what's that thing that I'm going to fall on the sword for? Or what are the causes that I care the most about? Who are the soulmate clients that I'm feeling the most guided to support? It's so important to be clear on what that is and where you can make the most difference. And that's what happens, you know, to add on to what you were saying, right? Especially with heart-centered leaders, healers, coaches, people who just have this genuine desire to make a difference in the world. They think that they have to help everybody, and they jump full on, you know, in, and then a lot of them end up burned out and they give up because they're burned out.
Absolutely. And I see that. I see that in these great people who I do see them around me. And literally, I have learned that. And I say no to people because I feel I need to focus on strengthening myself and building
Mm-hmm.
myself. And once I take myself to that point of elevation, and my own cup starts becoming full, and then you start helping others from the overflow. Because if you have nothing in your cup, no matter how good your intention is, you just have nothing to give, because everything stays incomplete. And honestly speaking, Jennifer, I think it's not selfish to want to first. We are taught that to think about yourself, to care about your well-being, to put yourself first is selfish, but it's actually not, because you help others from the overflow.
Well, that's more societal programming, more transgenerational programming that is an inversion. And if you even just look at it from a common sense perspective, our physical bodies are our vessel. So if you never take the time to put yourself first and you keep going, eventually you're gonna run out of fuel. I mean, your physical body, your mental well-being is just as important a part of, you know, your purpose and mission and what you're here to do. Hello, Enrique. Please let me know if I pronounced your name correctly.
Thank you for watching, and thank you for being here, Enrique. Appreciate your comment. And yes, true help does come from the overflow. Jennifer, I do have a women empowerment group on Facebook, and we have over 3,000 women in the group. And when I first started that group in 2016, I literally had to, when I would talk about taking care of yourself and loving yourself, I literally faced people who would be like, no, that's a selfish attitude. And I would just keep
Mm-hmm.
telling people that that attitude is not selfish. Y- what you do for yourself, just like you yourself said earlier, how you treat yourself is how you treat others. So take care of yourself, your needs, your well-being, your mental, emotional, physical well-being, mind, body, soul. Take care of yourself. Only then you're able to take care of others.
Absolutely.
Well, Jennifer, do you have any? So, first of all, do let people know where they're able to find you and how they can get in touch with you.
Yes. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I do have a channel on YouTube. However, I don't spend quite as much time over there, but that will be actually changing. The easiest place to go to check out all the places that I like to hang out is my website. So jenniferspor.com, JENNIFERSPOR.com. You can check out my podcast, blogs, how to work with me, more information about my backstory. I mean, pretty much everything that you need to know is right there. And just in closing, I would love to just put additional emphasis on the importance of learning how to confidently and decisively follow your soul's guidance, because we are living in a very evolutionary time where a lot of things that felt constant for us in the past are changing. And so when you feel guided to do something, allow yourself to honor that.
And that's actually your intuition telling you, to take those steps to,
Yes.
intuition is telling you to pivot, to change, and we don't realize that. It just makes such a big difference. um, so Sherry, thank you for being here. Thank you all, Enrique, Sherry, thank you, Russ, thank you everyone for being here and for your contribution, for watching. And I think, life is just a series of choices. And I don't think failure, success, I think these are all subjective things. But yes, um, are how we, I, everything that comes our way, it's coming our way because these are signals from the universe that, hey, maybe do this or maybe do that, try this, try that, so that we can change our own trajectory of life. So with that, having said that, I am thank you so much, Jennifer, for being here, and I do appreciate it. So I am going to remove you from the screen, and I'm just going to end the show. So
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. It was an honor, truly.
thank you so much for being here. And so, yes, having said that, we're just going to go ahead and end the show. And so, as always, appreciate you being here. I've been doing this for now 2 years. Um, I, this has been my own soul searching journey. And every guest who comes leaves me just more enriched, and I feel that my own wounds and my own, the craters in my own soul, every guest who comes, they fill in some of those holes, and they just propel me and take me one step forward, and they help me heal, and help me, just embrace change, embrace the challenges that come my way. Um, so thank you for taking the time out of your day, for carving the time out to hear what was shared on today's podcast. If this inspires you, if any show inspires you, please do share it. Yeah, it helps us build traction. And I'm so grateful to people who watch. And when you meet me here, there, somewhere, and people who come up to me and that you guys tell me that you watch the podcast, I'm just so humbled by that. What Because this is not just my, I hope that with my journey, as I am trying to build myself and heal myself from my own life challenges, trials and tribulations, that I'm able to touch other people's life in the same process. So just take 30 seconds to share it, because I hope together we can change lives. So take care, and have just a wonderful evening. And here we go. We're going to just end right here and the show.